Hello, welcome to MS's Great channel. In this video, I'm going to show how a group by data can be formatted in a way to send us an email in a readable format. This is a part 3 of the series which we were discussing about grouping by data from the SharePoint list. And in this part, we're going to focus more on the output of the data which is being filtered. So last time, if you see on part 2 series, the data output is a JSON format. Now we're going to form it in a structured HTML format. These are the steps which will be followed, and if you can see in part 2 we followed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in this part series part 3 we're going to enhance the step 5 and step 6. So in step 5 we're going to add a filter to get all the data from an array based on some vehicle type. We're going to use the same car database and use the vehicle type to filter, and once it is filtered, then we're going to form a very nice HTML file and then send us an email. Okay, so now we're going to use the same flow which we discussed on part 2. For part 2 link, I would add the description. In the description I'll add the link so that you can follow the part 2. And in the part 2 you would see how a data can be retrieved in a nice JSON format with the column name, and an email can be sent. So now we're going to just enhance only the output and focus on the output. Okay, so this is the same flow as I mentioned it before. So to modify the flow, what we're going to do is that we're just going to focus only at the output. Till forming an output, group by vehicle, it's all the same, and even adding the data is all the same. So we focus only on the output. So what we do is that we're going to add one more activity, which is a filter activity or the action. Filter array, sometime you need to type full. Okay, and it's an output from the result, which is the group by vehicles, which is this variable. And here we're going to filter by the vehicle type. We need to choose a specific vehicle type. In this scenario, I'm going to just filter only the luxury car models. So for that, I should use the formula. I need to get the item, specific item, select the item, and only the vehicle type. So I just type vehicle type and is equal to luxury. So it is going to filter all the vehicle type, luxury vehicle type or the car models, and will be returned as an array. So when it returns an array, the array will be in the format in the group by. So everything will be in the group by will be returned. Let me name this as luxury cars, and we're going to add one more action, which is create HTML table from the data operations. And this HTML table, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a formula, which is the result of filter luxury columns, body of. So here, if you notice here, if we use the body of filter luxury cars, it is going to return all the array, and later using it in the HTML will be a bit difficult. So we need to get the first part of the array and get the items within. So we need to follow this approach, which is 0 and and I'm going to get all the items within the 0. So items are by group by, if I am not wrong. So we should follow this approach. Let me confirm it. It's by group by. So basically what does this formula means? We're going to get the filter by. So whenever the filter luxury car action being executed, it returns an array. So but there is already an array within group by, so we need to navigate array within array, and there is only one array within an array, so I can literally say 0, and I need to get all the element within group by. So this is the JSON pathfinder kind of. So you use to navigate between the properties using this pathfinder. So I'm just getting all the top level, the parent level JSON. I'm navigating into one level of the array, meaning that the first index. So there is only one index of an array. Why? Because the array being formed within an array, and within that first index I'm going to get the group by. Okay, so that's how. And there is a property for create HTML for the columns. It is automatic. So whatever the column name, we have it here in the select column here. So automatically HTML is formed with this column name and the values being copied, and the values we need to send it to email. So we just use the output from HTML. That's it. Okay, so we just save this. It has been saved. Now let's do the test run. It takes a while to get the connections ready. I'm clicking on run flow. Hopefully it executes without any issue. Yeah, so it has completed execution. I got the email, the activity. Hopefully it is an HTML. Yes, if you can see here the same JSON which we used it in the part 2. This is the JSON which comes out of part 2 of the last video, and this is the last video. I formatted it in HTML. See how nicely the data has been formatted. You get all the luxury car types only because I filtered by the luxury car types, and it is a clean HTML which is usable as a grid. Let's go back to the Power Automate and then understand how it is done. These steps are the same. It gets an item and it fills an item with the select query. Here we just map it to our column names. Here we getting only the vehicle types. You can see here whatever the record with the vehicle type on array, we form it a distinct vehicle type. It just gets all the vehicle type. We iterate through vehicle type and we filter we filter and then group only by the vehicle type appended to an array. So this one, what it does is it groups by the vehicle type and fills in an array, and this is the key step which we added now. So basically what it happens is that it gets an output from the array which is an array of objects, the result object, the group by. So it gets an output from this group by vehicle. This is then which is an input to this. So the data looks like this. An array of square braces in the JSON is an array of object. So let me copy this and put it into the Visual Studio for easy understanding. Okay, you can see this. This is the input which is being sent into the filter array of objects. This is the first object. If you take, this is the first object. Okay, so this is an array of something like an array of object. So single object, which is the luxury, it contains another array. So this is an array of individual vehicle. Okay, so meaning that you have array inside an array. Okay, that is the input for this filter. So now what we're doing is that we forming another array with just luxury items. So if you see here, the same array, it has been filtered and it has only the luxury items. Okay, let me copy this. So you will have an array. This is an array of same array objects and it has only the luxury. Let me show it in Visual Studio Code. Okay, and if you just, you will see only the luxury. So it is just a filter that the array of object being filtered and it has an array inside. So now to pass it to HTML, I cannot just pass this array to a HTML. So that's why I'm adding a formula to get the first item, which is this. This is the first item in an array. This is an array. There is only one item, so I'm using the 0 index. So first item, which is the 0, and I'm getting the group by. So that is the syntax which has been used here in this formula, and it returns everything here. It returns only the luxury type. So this is the input. With that formula, it creates a HTML tag automatically, and I'm just sending it to the email. So that's how it works. So this is kind of end of 3 series, wherein the part 1 we are forming the group by data. In part 2 we are just formatting the JSON column, and in part 3 we are formatting the output into a HTML file. Hope this is really helpful for you, and this output HTML format can be in a table format, which is very easier. Here I'm just filtering by luxury. You can filter by any of this type, and also you can even add few more properties if you want to have in that JSON. So it is more of helpful. So grouping by is actually nothing but forming your own JSON object grouped with an array with the properties. Hope this is very helpful. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and like if you like the video.